My friends, you remember me.
Who are you?
I'm the chap who sometimes in those shows you like to see. Well, they gave me my own show and I thought, what should it be? Then I said, I know. What? An awards ceremony. But not for best actor and not for best score. And not for best director, because we've had all those before. And not for cinematographer, but that would be a bore. No, let's discuss achievements that the other shows ignore. And commend things formerly undebated. Yes, we'll honour those uncelebrated. So thanking you, my ladies and my lords, it's the Matt Lucas
Welcome to the Matt Lucas Awards, the show that gives the awards other shows don't give, whether it's least boring Shakespeare play or most pointless member of the royal family. In the kitchen, as ever, we've got my mum. Hello, Mum. And on the keyboard, Mr. David Arnold. David. In a moment, I'll be deciding who's going to be winning one of these. But first, to provide the nominations, please welcome tonight's guests. Richard Madeley. Sue Perkins. And Mark Wootton. Hello. Hello there. Nice to see you. Hello. I'll kiss you from your right hand. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Now, Richard, I often start this show by asking people if they've ever suffered an embarrassing moment at an awards ceremony, and I was wondering if anyone springs to mind.
Hang on, I'm just going to have to think about this now.
Shall I bust them out?
Oh, yeah, that thing, yeah. That will be engraved on her grave.
It will?
Yeah. Do you know what? Judy is actually recognised in America because of that clip.
Really?
They show that clip on American bloopers shows, and she gets recognised. Hey, aren't you that broad who the plane fell off and all that? Yeah.
I actually thought
she signs autographs.
Recognised, which I thought would be a great word for somebody who's recognised for their rack.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, it's time for our first award. We're all going on a summer holiday. No more working for a week or two, sings Cliff Richard every year as he takes a well-earned break in Brighton, Mykonos, San Francisco, or wherever it is he goes. But what places should he avoid? Where is the ultimate in tourist hell? Your nominations, please, for the Lucas for ghastliest holiday destination. Sue.
Isle of Skye.
Richard.
Madeira.
And Mark.
Snowdonia.
OK, so the nominations for ghastliest holiday destination are the Isle of Skye, Madeira and Snowdonia. So, Sue, you've gone for...
Isle of Skye.
I love Skye too. It's got the movies, it's got the sports. Sorry. So the Isle of Skye, tell us about that.
I went to the Isle of Skye in the mid-90s, which apparently was a low point. There was nothing to do. In the booklet said the main tourist attraction was the A road that they were building.
Right.
We walked along that. It came to an end abruptly in the middle of a mountain range. And then we went to the next best tourist attraction, which was the Reptile House, which had a massive board outside which said the most exciting place on earth. So you're thinking there's going to be a unicorn in there, or a griffin, or a naked cranky doing something dirty with John Barrowman, naughty, something exciting. Walked in there, it was a small shed smelling of wee with a corn snake in a bucket. That was it.
That was it?
That was it. I had 5 children with me.
OK.
We sort of picked up the corn snake, looked at the corn snake, put the corn snake like a scarf around the neck, put the corn snake back in the bucket. The children cried, and then the man who owned it collared me and said, "I'm really sorry, it's a real off day today."
Is that how they speak there? Is it the same accent as Scottish? Because it's kind of further up. Because Scottish is like this. Scottish is like that, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking it was so far up, it would be more like...
I think that's a seal.
Right, that's a seal.
It's very similar.
Yeah.
How much was it to get in?
It was something like £2 or £3.
Well, actually, I called them and asked them. They said... Richard, why have you chosen Madeira?
Go on, Panamera! Shall I pause for the entertainment? Yeah.
It's always happens when you go to dinner. Yeah, all right.
You want to talk, don't you?
Yeah. All right, OK.
Rose for the lady.
Yeah. Rose for the lady, yes.
Well,
Very nice.
What's the rose?
Yes, thank you.
You can give us the rose.
sorry about that, Richard. That always happens when you go on holiday abroad, doesn't it? So, you were saying...
Madeira.
Yes.
I think it's the only place I've actually seen synchronised projectile vomiting.
Right.
Yeah. The food poisoning on Madeira is, or was when Judy and I were there, epic.
Really?
Yeah, they were dropping like flies in the hotel restaurant, and they really were. Like, you'd look up and someone else would crash forward, and then someone else... And it was such a virulent bug that people were thrown up before they could leave the restaurant. They were being led... It was horrendous. Secondly, it rained every single day on this subtropical paradise.
Okay.
Every day and all day. Never got any sunshine. And there was an air of melancholy.
Right.
It would be, but with all the vomiting and the bad weather.
Whose idea was it to go there? It was yours.
Yeah.
Ah, so...
I saw a documentary about Winston Churchill. He used to go there a lot to paint.
That's right, he used to.
He used to stay there a lot.
Reeds, is it called Reeds?
There is a hotel by that name.
Yeah.
It may not necessarily be the hotel where there was the projectile vomiting. I cannot say.
It was.
It was a long time ago.
So it was you that chose to go there.
Yes.
Did Judy want to go to somewhere else?
I can't remember now, but I know things went wrong as we came into land.
Right.
Again, if you've been to Madeira, this was a long time ago, maybe things have improved, but the runway is very short, and it's surrounded by mountains, so when you come in, most planes, they come in like that, nice and gentle, touch up. They come in like this. Right. And everything slides to the right, and then they do that. They're dodging mountains. You see mountains flashing past the windows. And then when the time comes to leave, as if that wasn't enough, the runway's very short, so the plane goes... You watch planes taking off before yours. They go right to the end of the runway where there's a sheer cliff, and they turn around, and their back wheels are nearly over the cliff, and they rev up. They rev up like a bull pawing the ground, and the engines start to scream.
You're in a pedalo if someone's doing that.
Wow, I want to go to Madeira. It sounds brilliant, doesn't it?
And you take off like a cork out of a bottle, to get off the runway. So it's a place of its own charms, I suppose.
I don't know if you know this, but Madeira is the birthplace of Cristiano Ronaldo, of course.
Yeah.
He's their most famous resident.
Really?
Yeah. It's true, because when I was there, I could tell he had a big influence on the place, because every time I walked past someone, they fell over. Yeah. Now, when you were in Madeira, did you go on the toboggan?
No.
Do you not know about the toboggan?
No.
OK, so I went to Madeira, and there's this toboggan ride they do. Not in snow, just on kind of concrete down the hills, because it's very hilly.
Yeah, very.
And these men pull you down in this toboggan down the hill. And the thing is, they say to you beforehand, do you want to go gentle? Do you want to go fast? Or do you want to go really fast? And so, you know, I looked at Kevin, who I was with, and we went, oh, God, all right, life in our own hands here. Yes, we'd like to go really fast. And they went, OK, hold on to your hats. And then we went just really gently. And but the thing is, we had to pretend. We sort of had to please him. Yeah. So the whole time we were going, whoa, whoa. But we were going at a snail's pace. Mum, you went to Madeira on a cruise, didn't you?
We did, yes.
Yeah, how did you find it?
It was OK. I wouldn't actually rave about it, I must say.
Oh, really? You're in
I
Richard's
think-
camp, then?
Yeah.
But if you're on a cruise, you could stay on the boat, couldn't you?
You
So you didn't
could do,
really go
yeah.
to Madeira, you
No,
just...
didn't really
Stop trying
go.
to discredit my
Just
mother.
went.
Well, I haven't discredited your mother. Mind you, we've got the whole show to go, so... Mark, you've
Yes.
nominated Snowdonia. It looks lovely. Why have you nominated that as your most ghastliest holiday destination?
Can I just say, it's not Snowdonia. I mean, it is Snowdonia. That's where I found out it was. But for me, as a young boy, it was inside of a caravan where it rained a lot.
Ah, so we have the theme of rain again.
Yeah, it was a tiny caravan, one of those ones with curved kind of edges, so it wasn't like a proper big thing. And it was with my sisters, 2 older sisters, my nan and my mum and dad, all in this little thing, and it rained all week. And I phoned my mum and I said, oh, you know, which holiday was this? I said, we were in a caravan, it was raining, Nan was there, my sisters were there. She said, well, that could have been North Plymouth, or it could have been Snowdonia. And I said, well, we didn't leave the caravan. She went, you did leave the caravan, the toilet block was down the other end. I mean, the highlight for me was probably... I put pegs on my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
And, but hold on, you say, oh, yeah. But this was before Freddy Krueger. This was like...
We've got some pegs for you.
Oh, just happened to have some, funnily enough.
This is brilliant. Look at this.
Hang on. Here we are.
OK, I don't know whether I was putting pegs on my fingers to self-harm because I just hated it so much. Because I was the littlest as well, and they were all a bit bored with me. But
Did
this
you
is
just want
what...
to feel something?
Oh my God, I did. I've got cine footage my dad took of me doing this.
Ah.
And this. Creeping about.
Can I tell you something? You think you look like Freddy Krueger. I'm thinking Wurzel Gummidge. No,
I'm
Right to
thinking
the heart.
that by a toilet block at night. There's quite a lot of people watching this going, that accounts for why that holiday trip to Snowdonia was so damn frightening that year.
So, it's time for me to decide what's going to win the Lucas for Ghastliest Holiday Destination. Well, Richard, most of the time, you can at least get a tan in Madeira.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to discount that because most people just like to get a tan. They don't care where they've gone, as long as they've got a tan.
That's
I
a
don't
fair
care.
point.
As long as I come back looking like Errol Brown, I'm happy. Mark, Snowdonia in Wales, I'm a bit scared of giving it to you because I do remember what happened to Anne Robinson when she made disparaging remarks about Wales, and I don't want to be tackled by some angry scrum half. So your experience of the Isle of Skye does seem to mainly have been about the Reptilarium, but I do think things have moved on since then.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've been looking online, and it's now just mainly whiskey distilleries.
That's all right.
But I just don't think you need to go to a whiskey distillery. You know, I know how you make whiskey. They get a load of earth and they boil it, and then they just put a sticker on it saying £45. So for that reason, we don't need to go there. The Lucas for the ghastliest holiday destination has to go to the Isle of Skye. So, time for our next award. I'll be honest, I've spent most of my life having people take the mick out of me for not having hair. Well, now it's time for me to get my own back. Your nominations, please, for the Lucas for silliest hair ever seen on a guest's head. Mark.
My hair aged 14.
Sue.
My hair, aged 7.
And Richard.
My hair, aged 47.
So, the nominations for silliest hair ever seen on a guest's head are Mark's hair, aged 14, Sue's hair, aged 7, and Richard's hair, aged 47. So, Mark, tell us about your hair when you were 14.
It was a disaster, really. I was going to Alton Towers, and I'd collected little tokens from the Sun newspaper with my friend Barry Turp, and we were really excited. And I wanted to have a haircut that would be fitting for such a, you know, fantastic occasion. So I asked my mum if she could perm my hair. I feel terrible even saying this on television.
Why did you want a perm?
Well, I've got 2 older sisters, and they used to get the hair permed. And Jane, who would come round to our house to do my mum's hair, and my mum would do Jane's hair, they'd always be perming each other's hair. And I think I just thought...
But they're ladies.
No!
They're lady people.
But I had to keep the girls away. I had so many girls throwing themselves at me.
Really?
I thought, I've got to give other guys a chance.
OK.
Why don't I curl my hair up?
OK.
Anyway,
Sabotage.
I went for a really tight perm. I don't know what my mum was thinking of, but she and Jane, they put curlies in my hair, tightened around the top, and the top was super curly.
Right.
And I thought, well, that isn't enough. I'm going to dye it.
It's saying crufts to me.
Well, I went to Superdrug and I bought some Sun-In, which was the thing at the time, and I sprayed loads of it in my hair, not just a little bit, but it went a bit crazy, and it went like a really weird orange. I mean, the advert was like blonde locks, but this was like a dirty,
You put
rusty,
too much in.
and it went pretty rancid. And then I thought, well, this isn't enough, clearly.
Yeah.
I should have a little extra. And I went to my hairdresser's and I got it shaved all the way round under. So this bit was dark, this bit was crazy, rusty, orangey, yellowy, curly.
You went for a Hucknall, didn't you, basically?
I went for a
You did the
Hucknall.
full Hucknall.
Anyway, end of the day, we're going down the log flume. It was really low and really sad, actually, because, I don't know, but, back in the day, before they had banks of TV screens, they'd have one big monitor and it'd show the picture of the person going down. And when I stood behind some other guys who started pointing and laughing at the picture of me, and they went, "Who's the podgy girl with the pubes for hair?" And I didn't even have the heart to go, "Yes, me, 172, can I get the key ring and the little photos?" So I just sort of sloped off. Barry didn't say anything on the way back on the coach. We never really spoke about it ever again. And that's it.
Well, you didn't pick up the photo, but we think it might have looked a bit like this. Is that right? Is that how it would have looked?
I think a bit, yeah, it pretty much was that.
Mark, we actually tracked down Barry Turp because we knew you were going to tell this story. He now lives in Brisbane, Australia, and we asked him if he wouldn't mind talking about this particular incident. And he said no way. He wouldn't come on the show.
I want nothing to do with him and his crazy hair.
He basically just said no. And reading between the lines, you think you were traumatised. This poor sod has moved all the way to Australia. Sue, explain why you've gone for your hair age 7.
Yeah, I think I'm probably a bit younger than 7, so I might even be 5. But there's something about the look that I'm sporting which just screams Disco Damien.
Right.
It's all the frothiness and psychedelia of the 70s from the sort of neck down, and from here up, it just says, check the nape of the neck, because you will find the mark of the Dark Lord there.
OK.
It's my mum was... It's very sort of stuff and nonsense, you know, sort of born in the 40s. No, you don't need to go to a professional to have your hair cut. We're bound to have something here. And it would be... Like, my brother would get the normal pudding basin, and I got this small bit of Tupperware, which ended up, basically, the line of the fringe is so high. It's slightly sort of Henry II, like, my lord, I bring news.
And this was a money-saving exercise, was
Yeah,
it? To
she just
discourage
said-
you from going
yeah.
to a professional barber?
Yeah, because she thinks professional people like vets, oh, they waste time. We'll drain the dog's anal gland ourselves.
Sue, you say you looked like Damien from
Yeah,
The Omen.
yeah.
Let's have a look. OK, there's Damien in his latest incarnation.
Bring on Disco Damien.
OK, let's have a look at you.
Whoa, that is evil.
That's why I've gone for quiff now, because it's the elevation
Yeah.
in adulthood I was never given as a child.
OK, well, we're going to hear about an adult hairstyle right now. Richard,
Yeah.
Tell us about your hair aged 47. How old are you now, may I ask?
55.
You don't look it, you look 56.
Thank you.
But tell us about your hair aged 47.
Well, like most people, once you kind of reach your early 20s, that's the hairstyle you're kind of going to have,
Okay.
you know, for the rest of your life. And I'd had the same kind of, you know, sort of fringe and side parting and a little bit over the years for years and years and years and years and years. And then we went to Channel 4 in 2001, and Channel 4 was a bit edgy, and a little bit in your face. Anyway, these kind of Armani-clad execs, they thought the hair was a bit dated, and it was time to update the Maidly image. Now, I fought tooth and nail against this, because I just thought it was so self-regarding and stupid, and I knew it would be wrong. And I said, well, what do you want? And they said, short and spiky. I said, don't be stupid. And they said, well, sure, very,
Is
very
this the
short.
Gareth Gates era or something?
It was about that time,
Yeah,
actually,
yeah.
So I held out for the whole of that series until the very last day of the summer episode, before we broke until September. I said, I'll have it cut after the last show so I can get used to it in the summer, and I'll see what I think. Forgetting that the next day, when we were off air, we had a photo session for the paperback version of our book, which couldn't be put off. Forgot all about it, had this haircut, looked such a wally, and looked so different that we went to a pub, lovely summer's day in the garden. I came out with the drinks, and Judy did not recognise me. I'm standing right in front of her, and she said, excuse me, I'm waiting for my husband. Is that bad?
Well, we have a photo of you on your autobiography sleeve, still available at all good charity shops. Let's have a look. Ah, there we go. Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
I think it looks nice, but it's just not you. It's just not as we know you.
It's not the Aslam kind of...
No. With that little kink at the back that says, I like fun.
Yeah.
How about fun?
Yeah.
Richard, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think you look a nosh either way. David, we've got a picture of one of your dodgy doos. There we go. What inspired that?
Well, I thought I'd try and look like Robert Smith from The Cure.
Really a big fan of his?
No.
Fair enough. Mum, you were brave enough to let us see this. Oh, look at that.
It was the fashion at the time. I was about 18 or something, I think.
You don't look
It
so
was
great in the
beautiful.
next one, I'll be honest
Oh,
with you.
no.
There we go. There we
The
go.
1980s.
Yes.
Well, it's time to decide on a winner for the Lucas for silliest hair ever seen on a guest's head. I'm sorry, Mark, I know you went through a lot of trauma age 14 on that flume, but I do think it should be law that all 14-year-old boys should have a terrible haircut. It'll keep the population down. It'll stop teenage pregnancy. Sue, I think looking satanic could help in deflecting the school bullies. I think the more Beelzebubian you are, the more power you can wield in the playground. So it's actually quite useful.
Wish I'd known that.
As for you, Richard, you were an adult when the hairstyle in question took place.
Yes.
You approved the book jacket, which meant that you must have thought that it was OK. I think what you want for us all here today is to say, no, Richard, you look good. We're not going to do that.
No, I want an absolution.
You looked absolutely dreadful.
Thank you.
So the Lucas for the silliest hair ever seen on a guest's head has to go to Richard Madeley, ladies and gentlemen. Our final award of the evening is about knowledge, but not the sort of knowledge you need. I'm talking the sort of worthless information that annoyingly takes up residence in your brain and refuses to leave. Nominations, please, for the Lucas, for the guest with the most comprehensive but utterly useless knowledge. Sue.
I can tell what kind of cake I'm eating blindfold if I completely finish the cake.
Richard.
I'm the only person I know who knows all of the words to Chattanooga Choo Choo.
And Mark.
I can tell any Star Wars figure by just touching it.
So, the nominations for the Lucas for most comprehensive but utterly useless knowledge are cake detection, knowing all the words to Chattanooga Choo Choo, and Star Wars figure identification. So, Sue, of course, this is a love you've been able to nurture in the Great British Bake Off. Do you have a favourite cake?
All of them, but I particularly like the really big ones with just the big mountains of cream.
What is your least favourite cake? What you might call a hate cake?
I think a dry Battenberg is something that might make me have an almost Madeiran experience.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Sue, it's time to put your knowledge to the test.
Yeah.
If you'd like to make your way over to the hot spot.
Thank you.
A hot spot, it's not literally hot, it's just a figure of speech.
Now, Sue, if you'd like to sit yourself down
Yes.
over here and put on the blindfold.
This is always the best way to taste cakes. It's combining two of my favourite things, sensory deprivation and sugar.
Sue Perkins, you have to identify as many cakes as possible in the allotted space of time,
Yes.
whatever that will be in the edit. And your time starts now. There's the fork.
Ooh. I'm going for a Swiss roll.
I'm afraid that is a Black Forest Gatto I'm
very
taking it away
nice.
from you. Was it nice? Here's your second cake.
It's the devil's own! It's Battenberg.
It is a Battenberg cake. Here's your next cake.
Oh, it's claggy, that. Dry, deadly, heavy, Eccles.
Correct, it's an Eccles cake.
That was a gastric ask, that one. Right.
Now, Sue, this is an interesting one. This is a recipe that we found on the internet.
Oh,
there
dear.
you go.
So, is it... Oh, no, I was doing the... Oh, dear, that smells of... That smells of bleach. Tastes of sadness. I don't want to know what it is.
Well, in that case, I'll tell you.
Go on.
That's a salad dressing cake. OK, here's another cake for you, Sue.
Yeah. It tastes like sort of steamed panty liner.
It concerns me that you'd know what that would taste like.
Trust me.
OK.
I've been a student. We've all had our down days.
You've been eating... It's from China. It's moon cake,
Ooh.
which is made from lotus seed paste...
It's quite nice.
and salted duck egg. She isn't going to have any more of that, by the looks of it.
Moon cake.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's urinal cake, sorry.
Just got the waft of blue.
Another recipe we found on the internet.
Oh, you dirty, dirty boy.
No,
What is that?
it's tomato soup cake.
How many cake sites do you have to scroll down before you get to the tomato cake manufacturer?
Our time is up. Please take off your blindfold and return to your seat. Sue Perkins, ladies and gentlemen.
Sue ate a lot of cake.
Well done, Sue. How are you feeling now?
Bit like I've eaten tomato soup, Battenberg, and 15 rounds of Black Forest. That was nice.
Well, thank you very much.
You smell of disinfectant.
Thank you. I deliberately put that on before we met.
Richard, you claim to be able to sing all the words to the Glenn Miller song Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Yeah.
How did you come by this knowledge?
My dad was a big Glenn Miller fan. And when I was very little, I'm going to bed at about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, that's when he used to play his Glenn Miller records, and his favourite was Chattanooga Choo Choo. And one day when I was about 4 or 5, we were driving up to see my grandparents in Shropshire, and we were in the back of the car, and I suddenly sang the whole of Chattanooga Choo Choo from start to finish. And my parents, I could still see my dad's eyes in the rearview mirror going, how, you can't even read yet. How did you learn that? I said, I don't know. And we worked it out. I was hearing it as I was drifting off to sleep, and it had gone into my cerebral cortex and rested there, and it's stuck there.
What have you done to try and forget this useless knowledge?
Oh, what haven't I done? I mean, I've got very drunk on occasions, yeah, and tried to sing it badly, but it still comes out, word perfect. Nothing works.
You entered a loveless marriage, you were saying before the show?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Well, it's time, Richard, to put this knowledge to the test. If you'd like to make your way over to the hot spot.
Right.
The hot spot probably comes from some other show, but we can't remember which one.
Richard Madeley, you have opted to sing Chattanooga Choo Choo. However, I'm going to be honest with you. Having listened to you, I'm not actually that convinced that knowing the words to a song is all that impressive. Oh. I think we need to make this a little bit harder for you. I would like you to perform Chattanooga Choo Choo, but you can only sing every other word. Off you go.
That's impossible.
Well, let's see.
Pardon, boy, that nougat chew. 29, shine, boy, you and shine.
Don't let yourself be distracted, Richard.
Can forge.
Keep concentrating.
Nougat chew.
Keep concentrating.
Got fair.
Don't allow yourself to be distracted.
Just trifle spare. You, the station, 4:15 out until Magan.
One step away from the car. Keep going.
That could be Carolina. You whistle 8-bar, then no, not far. Shovel, coal, gotta roll in. Woo, nougat, you are.
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah,
Keep going.
There's me.
Keep going. How do you do?
At the station.
It's a shambles. It was a shambles. Come on, back to your seat.
Richard didn't really know the words.
That could have been the aversion therapy I've been looking for.
Maybe that's what you needed.
Maybe it's cured me.
Mark, you say you can identify any Star Wars figure purely by touching it. Does that mean you were one of those very knowledgeable but ultimately friendless Star Wars kids?
Yeah. No. What else do you do on a caravan trip in Wales when you can't... you can't leave the caravan and it's raining?
Good point.
No, I came from quite a poor household, and when the electricity meter would run out, I still continued to play. And that way I learned to use the Force.
Clever.
And figure out every figure.
Clever. Are you a massive fan of the film?
I am. Can I just say, I only know the figures from the good films.
Right.
For me, the bad films, the first 3, don't exist.
Right, OK.
If there's any Jar Jar Binks in that basket, I don't want it.
Well, Mark, it's time to put your knowledge to the test. If you'd like to make your way, please, over to the hot spot.
Like I said, it's not literally hot, but Sue and Richard have already stood on it, so it's probably quite warm by now.
OK, you got your hands in?
Yep, hands are in.
Lovely. OK, Mark, I'm going to be handing you various Star Wars figures, and it's your job to tell me which ones they are. Your time starts now.
R2-D2.
Well done.
Where are you?
Well done.
I'm really worried I look like a freak doing this. Oh, it's got a cape.
I would say you look like a freak whether you get it right or wrong, Mark, so...
It's Obi-Wan Kenobi.
It is Obi-Wan Kenobi!
Could have been mistaken for Lando Calrissian. They both had the cape, but he's got the saber. It's little. It's got ears. It's Yoda.
Correctly identified me, you did.
OK, here's another one.
Okay. Is this from the first film? First 3 films? Is it from the good films or the bad films? It's not Star Wars, is it? It's got some sort of jacket on that Han Solo may have worn, but it doesn't feel like Han Solo. His head's too big.
I'll put you out of your misery. It's Harry Potter.
Oh, no! What's he doing in there?
Well, I don't know. Aren't they all in the same film?
Potter!
All right, got another one for you here.
This isn't Star Wars, is it? Is it?
Depends what you define.
Is it
by...
Jar Jar Binks?
Yes, it is Jar Jar Binks.
No way! Oh my gosh!
OK.
He ruined those films, didn't
right.
he? Why did he ruin those films? What a freak. Not me, Lucas.
Not
you.
me, George. Yeah. Who's that?
It's got little horns. Is it a Gamorrean guard?
It is a Gamorrean guard. Well done. Well done.
Return the Jedi in that one.
They do get broken, don't they?
Oh, right. It's a leg.
Yeah.
Is it a droid?
Yes.
Is it C-3PO?
Well done, sir. Well done. Who's that?
Right, it's not Star Wars, is it? It feels quite nice, actually. No, I'm getting quite... This is... Is it a My Little Pony?
It is a My Little Pony! And your time's up. Mark Wootton, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations.
If you've never seen Star Wars, then it wasn't very entertaining at all.
That's real useless knowledge.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, it's time to decide who is going to win the Lucas for the guest with the most comprehensive but utterly useless knowledge. Now, Sue, given that you host the Great British Bake Off, I think it's fair to say that your knowledge has actually come in quite useful, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so that kind of rules you out.
Yeah.
Richard, that wasn't knowledge, that was a shambles.
It was, I know. I can only apologise.
Mark, that means I have no other option than to award the Lucas for most comprehensive but utterly useless knowledge to Mark Wootton. Well, that's very nearly all for this evening. We just have time to award the Lucas of Lucases, the special prize that this week goes to the most peculiar guest. And, Richard, I think that Chattanooga Choo-Choo display means that the Lucas for most peculiar guest...
I am peculiar.
...goes to Mr Richard Madeley. Richard, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, I'd like to thank, obviously, my parents for bringing me up in a very peculiar way, and for some off-stage advice, but I won't pass on, from the lovely Sue.
Shall I just get a boob out or something, make you feel at home?
We'll just ignore
Thank you very
it.
much indeed. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks once again to all my guests, Richard Madeley, Sue Perkins, Mark Wootton, and to my mum and David Arnold, and to all of you for watching. Take it away! Goodbye, my friends, that's all there is for me. Sign off, go home, get on your bike, there's nothing more to see. A gay crew show with the greatest guests alive. So if you didn't like it, well, there's always Channel 5, where instead you can watch CSI, followed by another CSI. After that, they'll sometimes show men on skateboards, and not the mad Lucas. Oh,